When is it finally time to kick that junker car to the curb and go get a new one? Well, this is a common question, and today I'm going to walk you through how to know if it's time to get something different or if you should stick with that clunker. How's it going, everyone? Craig here, financial coach who's passionate about helping people break that paycheck to paycheck cycle so they can finally find some peace of mind when it comes to their money. Now, a common question, and one I've talked to with multiple clients is, when is it time to get rid of that car? So I have some people who I'm working with who have some older cars. They've seen some life and they are needing repairs constantly, it feels like. And so they come to me. Not too long ago, I had one who just asked, when does it make sense for me to go ahead and go out and get a new car, or new to them. And I had another one who's same question. It's, should I go borrow to get something better? I feel like the monthly payment would be cheaper than what I'm sinking into repairs. And you've probably felt this way. If you're driving a junker car and feel like you don't have the cash to go buy a new one, you kind of feel like you're in that ebb and flow, that cycle of, I'm constantly sinking money into this thing. It's such a waste. What am I going to do? Well, let me start with number one. The answer has to be based on your core values. So what do you believe? What's important to you? Now, something I work with a lot of my clients and when they're setting their goals is, what are your values around money? Is borrowing money something that you do? Is it something that lines up with your beliefs? Now, for me, it doesn't. So if my car tomorrow just exploded and was done, if I didn't have the cash to go buy a car, I'd have to start figuring out what to do. Or if I have some cash, that's how much of a car I'm going to get. Because borrowing is off the table. And so when I take that off the table, then I can look at my options. So because going out and getting a loan doesn't line up with my core beliefs, it's not out there. And so that's number one, is, does borrowing line up with your core beliefs? Now, financially, I'm going to recommend it shouldn't line up with your core beliefs, but only you can answer that. So let's say you are like me and you don't believe in borrowing money. You've drawn that line in the sand that you're not going to borrow ever again. Well, then we have to look financially what makes sense. Now, let me say it's probably not as bad as you're thinking. Most of the time, you're still saving money versus a car payment. And here's what I mean. Car repairs, for some odd reason, tend to come in chunks. It seems like you repair the belt and then next month the brakes are out. So they tend to come in chunks, and so it feels like over a 2 to 3 month period, you've sunk a lot of money into it. So I want you to look big picture. Go back for the past year, past 2 years. How much money have you really spent on that car? How much have you spent on repairs and maintenance? And then we're going to compare that to the car payment. Because the thing is, if you're going to go get a car payment, unless it's a brand new car, which definitely wouldn't recommend, you're still going to have a lot of those maintenance fees, right? Even if it is a brand new car, you're still going to have the oil changes and tire rotations and new tires. Those are all just part of cars. So go back and look at your repairs. So the client I did this with, they had spent over the last 12 months, about $2,000 in their car. And most of it happened within a 2 or 3 month period, so they were incredibly frustrated. But we compared that to what would it cost to pay a monthly payment on a car. And so we ran it through a calculator, and the car payment was going to be about $300 a month. So right there is $3,600 a year. So this year they paid $2,000 on repairs. If they had a car payment, it'd be $3,600 just on the car payment itself. So financially, you can see how it's not saving them any money. It's actually going to be more expensive in the long run because they're trying to get out of debt. So that's going to take up more of that cash to get out of debt. Now, every car is different, so you need to go and do this on your own, or I'm happy to work these numbers with you and decide. But I want you to take the emotion out of it. A lot of times we're so frustrated with what the car is doing that we're making a decision based out of emotion, and we're rationalizing it by saying, I'm sinking too much money in it, it's cheaper to do this. We're trying to rationalize that decision, but the truth is it's emotional. So we need to break it out and say what really makes sense. Now, if it's true that you're spending way more money on it or it's become unsafe, then you stop paying down debt and you save up money and go pay cash for a car. And we get something that you can afford and something that is not outrageous, that's not going to take away too much time from your from your goals. So I had a client who did this about a year and a half ago, and his car got totaled. He called me. We were talking through it, and he had from the totaling, he was going to get about 3,000. I think he had a couple thousand in the bank, so he's in about 5,000 total. So instead of going out and borrowing to get something, he's going, okay, 5,000 is what I got to go get a new car, a new to me car. And what he told me later was, I was shocked at how many good cars were out there for $5,000. I had this belief that you couldn't get a good, safe car for $5,000. And he did. He found a great car, one that he's actually in love with. And so it can happen to anybody. And so don't get that stipulation. Don't think that it's impossible. We want to get the core data, get the facts. It may not be the exact vehicle you want, but it's going to be good enough to get you from point A to point B while you finish your goals. And then later you can save up more money and get a better car. All right. What are your thoughts? I know this is kind of a sticky topic to be talking about. A lot of people have different opinions when it comes to cars. So drop it in the comments box below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think people should borrow to fix the problem? Where do you land on this? If you feel like you're stuck, whether anything financially, but if it's a car you're trying to decide on, I can help. Click on the link below and we'll book a free coaching session. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next week.